Hello traders and welcome to the Trading Fanatic channel. In this video, we're going to have a trading setups breakdown of all the trades that I took this week. I really believe there is a lot to learn from this week. We actually had quite some great textbook setups, really nice swings, and kind of a textbook delivery from Monday all the way to Thursday today. So of course, I'm gonna dive deeper into all the details because this video is specifically for the trades that I took. There is not gonna be any forecast. I'm just gonna walk you through the market, gonna show you all the entries, the management that I did as well. And hopefully you can, of course, as always, extract something from this video, pick up some gems from here and there, add to your strategy, go test it out. And at the end, of course, all I want to know is that you have improved by watching this video, gaining value and improving in your trading. All right. So again, if you're new to this channel, it's all about trading. I plan to share more on investing and wealth creation as well. So make sure you are subscribed, turn on the notification bell in order not to miss the future upcoming videos. I was in fact going to publish an educational video this week, but all of a sudden yesterday, my internet just decided to stop. Right, so I actually postponed this one, but here I am with a trading setups breakdown. I'm working on a lot of educational content as well for you guys, so make sure to stick tuned. And right now it's time to get into the analysis. All right, let's get started as always with a little bit of a top-down analysis just to build a narrative, right? So that we know where we are in terms of price and where we can potentially go, right? And of course, I'm not going to go too far on the left to do a big top-down analysis. We're going to do this on Saturday, and you have been watching me for quite a few weeks and we pretty much know what is happening on EU, right? But overall, if I just zoom out very briefly, we can just see that the market is going down, all right? The next detail is that for quite some time, I've been mentioning this little zone, which is also 1.10. So I am currently slightly bit regretful that I actually did not leave maybe just a 0.01 towards this target. Because again, if this one is achieved, actually, it's going to be a great confidence booster. Really, that it means that the higher time frame narrative that I read is correct. But of course, this really doesn't matter. Again, the market is bearish. We had this beautiful push. We had this pullback. And then right there, actually, this little period right here was quite tricky, but what really made me short is this right there. So we had this little demand zone, which is better seen on the 4-hourly time frame. We tapped inside, we should have made a new higher high. No, we just created a lower high and then we just dropped to the downside. Okay, and we also took out this low right there, which is first confirmation that we're potentially about to go down. Then what I also brought to your attention in the last weekly outlook is this inside bar, which is, yeah, this one is not the inside bar, this is the one, but this is the mother candle. So if you have been following closely my analysis, you know how I actually approach inside bars, right? But I'm gonna say it again. Usually you pair those things with the trend. The trend is down, so what we can expect is that maybe tomorrow or maybe the next day, the low is gonna be taken of the mother candle, so we can actually continue with the overall trend. And what we can see is that Monday actually opened massively to the downside, right? This was just one massive push to the downside, which was also a gap, right? We had the gap. I got a couple of questions for gaps. Well, pretty much this is normal to happen, especially right now with the war developments and the different sort of news and developments over the weekend. Of course, the banks are still active during the weekend, but we do not see this. So when they actually open, then you have a massive run, right? And you don't really want to be leaving your trades over the weekend because it's very scary, because you never know what's going to happen over the weekend and you never know where the price is going to open, and you can potentially just suffer a very big loss. It doesn't matter where your stop loss was, where the market opens, this is where you're going to get executed. So pretty much, yeah, if you're running a trade and then the market just opened down there, it was really bad. Okay. And then you can see we started to actually withdraw to the upside very nicely. The next day opened, created just a little bit of a pullback, and then it just flushed to the downside, taking out the low. Then we had Wednesday, another beautiful short on Wednesday that I missed with like 1 pip. I'm going to also show you. And right now it looks like we're just continuing to the downside. Of course, we're traveling towards 1.10, but currently we just made this big push to the downside. So can we potentially expect a little pullback? Well, this is what we're going to see on Saturday. Let's try to zoom in to see what actually happens. So what happened on Monday was this massive drop again. So on some brokers, this was a gap. On this one right there that I am right now, it's a big candle, right? But again, just building into confidences, we had this big range to the downside. And the market started to do this, right? So this is where a lot of you go wrong. You're like, oh, push, pullback, higher low, higher high. I am bullish. No, you're not, because you don't actually look at the higher time frames and your major structure, right? So this right here was just complex correction. The market was reaching for a new lower high. And then what we had is this right there. So what this confirms to me is that the complex correction is over and that I can really start shorting the market with high probability, okay? So then what we have, of course, is this higher time frame supply that also created the lower high. And again, the target is simply this low right there. If the market is really about to go down, this low should be attacked. I shouldn't say should, because we never know what's going to happen. But of course, technically, this is the potential outcome. But what also happened on Monday is that, of course, after this huge drop to the downside, what I expected is for the market to pull back. So again, understanding this, I allowed myself to take a long, and then I took a short on Tuesday, and then I tried to take a short on Wednesday, which got missed. Another beautiful trade. I think it was just this move down right there. And today I actually took a long, which was a loss. So let's actually jump into it. So dropping onto the 15-minute, I'm also going to delete some price. We can see this thing right there. So this was pretty much either empty space. You can see just 23 o'clock, it just dropped to the downside massively, and it was pretty much a gap. So this candle right there does not exist. And then as you can see, we started to pull back. We started to pull back. Pretty much the first trade that I took was taken from right there. So I'm actually gonna plot it in right now. So Monday, I possibly even have this level already. So I'm gonna delete it. So yes, what we can see is the Asian range. So stay tuned. I'm going to be releasing a great video next week for the Asian range. So once again, make sure you are turning on your notifications right now. And pretty much what I saw right there is that we were bearish, but then all of a sudden the market reacted from the last supply and then it actually broke to the upside. Many people perceive this once again to be a manipulation above the Asian range, so we can actually head lower, but no, we potentially are about to fill the gap, get into higher prices, and then start moving lower. Okay, so what I identified this morning is actually this zone. So what I tried to do is actually take a long from this zone and really targeting somewhere in the middle. Not a lot. You can see my partial was actually still within this range because I really want to secure. Nowadays, I just want to secure 4R, just take it, bank it, and then of course either leave a runner or close it full. Okay, so let's actually jump on the 1 minute after the market actually came inside this area. If I zoom in, there it is. So there is the trick. There is a little bit of a trick right there. Also, my biggest tip will be to follow the DXY, right? This is why I also start with the DXY, because at this moment on right there, DXY has still a little bit of upside to retest, right? So this one tapped and it actually showed us a reversal, but cool, you could have taken a loss right there. I personally did not trade it from here because this is also the first low. I don't trust the first low, remember? This was, I think, from the last trade setups breakdown that I did. A lot of you actually took that gem and implemented it into your trading. So there it is, another example. This is the first step into the demand. We react. Tricks buyers, early buyers, comes down. The people with the 2-pip stop loss get stopped right there. And then we actually saw the rebound. And at this moment, actually, the Dixie retested the level that I wanted to see. So I was ready for an entry. Then we also had this little range right there, pushed higher, potentially a lot of people entering longs from right there, but we would like to take it from the downside. And as the market started moving down, I took my first trade from right there. Stop loss was below, which is 4.5 pips, safely below this structure, because if we also manipulate below that structure, then possibly we're going for a lower retest or we're just wrong, right? At first, suffered a little bit of a drawdown, got scared a little bit, but then of course we actually shifted the structure and retested back the entry, and then we just exploded very nicely to the upside. So again, how I approached this trade, it was Monday, so I wasn't having high hopes. There were those flat highs that I first wanted to target. So pretty much my first partial was taken right there at 4.3R. You're gonna see also the first MT4 stat. And then I just let it run. I was planning to just take it at the high right there, and then the market just consolidated. I was also thinking for a scale in, but I really don't want to go aggressive on Monday. There is a potential scale in that you could have taken, slightly bigger stop loss, but of course, if you just, 5R, there it is for a couple of minutes. And then as I just saw, I was just monitoring the market, and all of a sudden my alert started pinging, and by the time I actually got to the chart, the market was up there. So I was just like, right, just close, full, right? So where I closed was right there. I'm gonna also share the second MT4 stats, and this was for a 9.4. Now, disclaimer, I did not make 9.4 4%, right? Because I banked the partial. I also did not risk 1%. So if you actually listen to others telling you, hey, I made 9.5% right now, you never know how much they risk, of course, and how much they manage their partials, because it would be easy for me to show you right now, for example, hey, I took full TP right there, but first I took partials, then I secured break even. Probably if I just wasn't looking at that move, I would have taken another partial right there. Just keep extracting from the market, right? And then of course, when you're satisfied, just bank it, and do not go like huge, right? Because on this one, some of you might be like, oh, you missed out on a lot. Like, look at that. This is 1 to 14. I don't care. I personally thought to just bank the full position on 1 to 4. I don't care what's going to happen next, right? Just make sure to bank, take partials, pay yourself, because even with the current market conditions, you just don't know what's going to happen. And then of course, I was looking to further scale into longs, and this was a trade that I wanted to take, but I did not, simply because I did not like the shift of structure right there. So we pretty much came in inside where this big move happened. We tapped inside, we reacted very nicely. I just didn't love it, so I did not take it, but I had members from my community that took it, banked it very quickly. And then as you can see, we actually generated these flat lows. We massively manipulated into the lows, but then as the market started to shift to the upside, it just did not provide an entry. I was thinking to attempt it from here, right? But again, I was like, it's Monday, bro. You already made your percentage. Let's not rush. So this is Monday, very nice day. And what we pretty much did is we traded the pullback, right? And as you can see, if you actually held it until the supply, then it was a 1 to 16. So big potential this week. So this was Monday. Let's jump on to Tuesday. And on Tuesday, the 15-minute is actually going to be important, as we currently know what is happening. What I bring to your attention is also the short that I did on YouTube and Instagram. Hope you're following me there on Instagram as well. I post some great stuff. So if any of you are watching and you're not on Instagram, go follow there. We had this uptrend, push, pullback, push, great. So what we have to do is identify where is the last higher low. According to me, it was this one, right? Because this is the pullback that actually created a new higher high. Then we actually shifted the trend, then we consolidated a little bit, then we also broke structure. So this, according to me, is great confluence. And of course, I utilize the Asian range, which I'm going to teach you how to utilize soon. This is also a great example. After you cover the video that I'm going to share with you, you're going to see how I actually utilize it. And pretty much, I was first looking at this zone, but this wasn't nice for me. Why? Because it was pretty flat, right? And then I actually looked at this big guy right there. And as I don't have it drawn because it's way too big, but as soon as we tapped inside, I was looking for the market to give me the rejection. I didn't want to go aggressive. And then we can see that actually on the 15-minute, we created a higher high. We shifted the structure right there, and then we pulled back. So you can just press a sell right there in the middle, stop loss above. Great, take it, okay? But of course, what I did is I went to the 1 minute trying to catch a better trade. And yeah, it's all the same stuff. What I did on the 15-minute, I also do on the 1 minute. Uptrend, I wait for the uptrend to change. On this one, it was slightly bit tricky, and this is something that I have been discussing and testing a lot with my team and during our webinar. So I'm not going to share it right there. It's something that works amazing, but pretty much you can ask me right now, this structure did not change. Yes, it did not change, but there are other confluences that really support that it does not need to change. Okay, so pretty much the real sniper would have been from up there, stop loss above, right there, 4 pips. But then as I saw the rejection, then the market just correctively came inside, generated a little bit more of flat highs right there, a little bit of liquidity. And as it came inside, I took it from right there, stop loss 3.5 pips, you're going to see. And then my first TP was actually at the demand, which is the 15-minute demand. So I took my first target right there at 6.3. So I banked around 70% right there. Because again, 6.3 hour, I'm extremely satisfied with that for such a short period of time. And then of course, my next target where I actually took the remaining of the position was at the Asian low right there. And yeah, then pretty much I banked it fully. And this is why I was also thinking to just leave maybe a little bit of a position, because this one went big, right? This trade could have flipped my account probably. Well, I made a good percentage on it, but it would have been massive, because you can see it actually ran for a 1 to 46 at the bottom. And again, somebody can come in, can show you maybe this one. I took this trade, but hey, you don't have proof as well. And you rarely are going to hold so much, right? I actually had a member who entered with a bigger stop loss, but his stop loss was bigger. So he made 1 to 11 down there, right? So he actually held through that move, but the stop loss was smaller. For me, with the stop loss, and 6R, 10R, the rest of the 30% was great. Then I was also looking to scale in right there, but it was slightly tricky. So we created this. This is a 15-minute supply, broke to the downside, pulled back. I was actually looking, I do believe I was looking to take it from here, just as a continuation with a 5-pip stop. Did not retest. Then it actually rushed in a little bit lower. And then again, as this is a break of structure, you can of course take it from here, but I was slightly starting to hesitate because it was getting a little bit too low. And I was like, bro, we have been pushing for quite a while. Probably we're about to initiate a little bit of a pullback, but no, the market just went inside. I was looking to take a trade from here, and I do think I actually missed this one, or I didn't want to take it. I'm not sure. Probably I was looking, yeah, because the stop loss was 6 pips on this one, I was possibly looking for a higher stop loss, which is something that happened on Wednesday, as you're gonna see. And yeah, then the market just ended up rolling down, and just for one day, it fulfilled the target, which is this low. So Tuesday was just huge. Really hope some of you actually managed to catch this one. And then again, Wednesday, we just continued to plummet to the downside, right? And what I do is I just follow up. Okay, cool. Momentum is to the downside, so I really don't want to go against the trend. I want to follow the momentum, right? This is one of the scenarios that you just have a trend outside of the Asian range. You don't have a manipulation. So we had a push. We had a little bit of a retest right there. We had another push that actually broke structure on the 50-minute. So I was looking to get on the retest and just ride it lower. Very simple. Just following market structure, trading the lower highs. But then again, I was a greedy ass right there. As you can see, there is the tap inside. There is potentially an entry that you could have taken, but for me, this was slightly aggressive. This time I was looking for the market to shift, and as you can see, higher low right there, higher low right there, break of the last higher low. Yeah, I really regret this trade, but yeah, so this candle right there is potentially your entry candle. Some of you call it an order block, demand, buy to sell, whatever it is supply, right? This is where the market actually broke structure. This is how I understand it. So I didn't want to enter from here because again, the stop loss was 6 pips. And what I wanted to do is just trade it towards this low, right? I was even thinking to take partials right there because again, we are at the lower portion of the range, and I was also expecting a little bit of a pullback. So what I said, well, I was like, okay, I'm going to trade it with a 4 pip stop so that I can catch a 5R at the bottom and just be out, right? Almost came in, almost, and then it just flushed, and I was potentially looking to scale in, maybe as a retest right there. I think I wanted to take it from here, but nope, it just plummeted, and it plummeted really nicely, right? Again, full honesty, I would have banked 100% of my position down there, right? But this trade ran for almost 1 to 10, but it did not trigger. If I took it from here, then of course 3R, it's still great. It's still great, but at the moment, again, my greedy ass said we're gonna wait for a tighter stop so we can actually have better risk to reward. And sometimes this doesn't work. And then after this trade, my internet stopped, and I wasn't trading for the remaining of the day, but pretty much a couple of shorts that could have been taken right there, because then as you can see, we actually created a pullback. We actually created a pullback up there, and then we launched this move lower, and again, we also attacked the low. Right there, we took out the low, and then we had the speech and the news and stuff, and we had this madness right now. So this is Wednesday, missed trade, and on Thursday, just today, I took a hit. I still didn't have an internet, but this time I was like, I connected my 3G to the laptop, so I traded with the internet connection. But I was right now perceiving the market slightly turning bullish, although the volatility was extremely bearish. So I don't know what I was thinking, but I just decided to jump on a little counter trend move. Also because the hourly looks like it was shifting higher, right? And I also spotted the 50-minute, like we had push, pullback, push, just liquidated the low a little bit. We had a massive wick that some of you can count as a break of structure. But then even if you don't count it as break of structure, we had a higher low, and then we pushed into the highs. And this high did not make a new higher high of this wick, right? But this wick, according to me, was news, right? So I was like, okay, I am just going to count it from this demand right there, and I'm going to try to take a long. Also, confluence, exactly right there, we have the Asian range, and we started to move lower. So as soon as we tapped right there, I was ready to strike, went on the 1 minute, and it was a pretty good setup, honestly. There is pretty much, yeah, this is the first tap, which happened during Asia. We actually liquidated the first right there, but then the market did not shift, went lower low, lower high, lower low, boom. There is the break right there. And yeah, I just waited for the retest, took it from right there, stop loss, kept it a little bit bigger, 3.5 pips. I didn't keep it like that because this is just a little bit too much. And yeah, went straight into drawdown, tried to push a little bit, tried. I was having high hopes that it's gonna reverse, but nope, just boom, plummeted. And if I show you also the Dixie, the DXY also had a higher level to go and retest. They didn't actually did, and then we actually had a reaction, okay? But this is also the loss that I took this week. But again, this is just a -1 hour loss. Just looking at all the trades that were taken, it's definitely great. And this is pretty much the game of trading. You take losses, especially if you have a lower win rate, because the majority of you, if you're trading with a bigger risk to reward, you're going to have a lower win rate. But again, at the end of the game, at the end of the day, the game is just to keep following the same thing over and over again. And it's just the maths are just gonna play out at the end, right? I had a very tough February. In fact, I finished exactly break even at February. It was really tough, right? And I recovered, well, I did not recover, but I made huge progress just for 2 days in March, right? So just listen to the market, just keep doing the same thing, remain balanced in your emotions, and everything is gonna happen, right? So hopefully you got value from this one. Great opportunities this week. First, again, was the counter trend move. Then we had the continuations. Again, targets potentially expecting 1.10 to tap. And yeah, hopefully you got some gems. Stay tuned for my Saturday's analysis, where we're going to have a monthly outlook and setups. I'm also going to pick another giveaway winner. So make sure you're commenting on the videos. And yes, trade safe tomorrow on NFP. I'm pretty much skipping this week after right now. I'm pretty satisfied with the results. And yeah, pretty much looking to avoid, because right now you can see we're just entering into a chop right there. It's getting a little bit too choppy right now. Switch much better to step aside. We have speech from the Fed a little bit later, NFP tomorrow, so wait for this to pass, and then we have a brand new week and a brand new month next week, so let's get it.